Hello there, how are you doing? Now in this lesson let's learn a bit more about traits. Okay, so what happens if two traits contain the same method or contains method that is already in the class? So how do we deal with that situation? So let's see that in action. So what I'm going to do is inside utils I'm going to create a new file called contract.php. Contract.php. Save, and then let's write a simple trait here. First we give the namespace bookstore utils, and then we create a trait contract. So it will have a function called sign. Okay, sign, it will simply echo signing the contract. Okay, just for testing, signing the contract. What we're trying to do is we have this sign method here. We will import this trait and try to use in a class, and then we will have another method also which also has the name of sign, and we will see how we deal with this one. Okay, now that we have this trait with this method sign, let's try to use this. So why don't we create a new one? Let's create a new one inside domain, and let's call it manager.php. Okay, so let's give it a namespace bookstore domain. Okay, so in manager class we use the contract trait, right? So this trait has this sign method. Now let's try instantiating this manager class in init.php, and let's give it a try. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is first we need to import that class. We need to use, so let's copy paste and let's change it to manager. Now let's instantiate, let's call it manager equals to new manager, and let's try that, access that method manager sign. Okay, let's simply echo this out. Okay, as you can see, signing the contract. Okay, so this is another cool way of using traits. So you write a certain piece of code into trait and you import that, and it can be reusable as well. Okay, so this sign method, this trait we used in manager. What happens if we imported another trait as well and that also had the same method such as sign? What happens in that case? Let's give it a try. Why don't we quickly create another trait? Okay, let's save this one as, let's save it as communicator.php. Okay, now let's go to contract and let's copy paste. It's going to be similar. Save. Let me reopen again. Okay, it's the same namespace trait. Let's change it to communicator. Now this will also have the sign method. Now it will say something. Let's say from, just so that we can see the difference. Okay, so we have two traits. Both of them have the same method, and we are importing them in this manager class. So let's see how it works. Okay, let's bring that in. Okay, use, let's copy this one. Use bookstore contract communicator. Now we use this one as well. Okay, now both of them have the same sign method. Now we're trying to access the sign method here. Let's see what we get here. refresh. Okay, the trait method sign has not been applied because there is a collision with other trait methods. Okay, so it's pretty useful error message here. So in a situation like that, how do you solve? Okay, it's pretty straightforward. What you can do, you have two options. One is using this instead of method. Okay, one is instead of keyword and another is as. Okay, so we're gonna use both of them. So what you can do is use communicator. First of all, we don't have to write it in two different lines. We can just simply comma separate. Okay, so what you can also do is contract comma communicator. Okay, we can do that too. So what you can do is we can use contract, so leave it as is. Now communicator, it also has the same sign method. So what we can do instead is we define like so. Within the curly braces, we can say contract, and we access this method like so. We're using these two column. Okay, sign instead of, so this is the keyword we get to use, communicator. What we're saying here is use the contract sign method instead of communicator. Okay, so it's like reading plain English, pretty straightforward, and with semicolon. And also communicator sign method we can bring in as some other name. We can give some other name using this as. Okay, so communicator sign. So what we can do is communicator sign, we can say as, let's give it a name, make sign or anything you like. Okay, now this way we have access to both. We have access to the sign method from the contract, and we also have access to the sign method from communicator, but in this case we give that a different name so that it doesn't collide. Okay, let's give it a try. Refresh. Okay, sign in the contract, we get the sign, and this one is sign is being used on the of the contract. Okay, sign in the contract. Now we can also try manager sign. What did we name that? We named that make sign. Okay, make sign, save it, refresh. Okay, and this one is from the communicator. Okay, so this is how you can avoid the conflict. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Now what about you had another function within here as well? Sorry, not on this one, in manage the class. What if you had another function like sign on here as well? Sign here within this class. So in this case what happens is it takes the precedence over all these other methods. Okay, so if it is defined here, it will be used. Okay, so we can say it is from the class. It will override the sign method that is from the trait. Okay, save it. Okay, so it's from the class itself, and then the second one is from this another trait. Okay, so that's how it works. So I'll see you in the next video where we're going to learn about exceptions. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.